Hello there, and today we're going to be talking about social life for teenagers. So, how does social life affect the mental health of teenagers? That's what we'll be discussing in today's video. We all know that for teenagers especially, but it's important to belong to a community, even for adults, teenagers especially. Peer pressure, enormous. We got to talk about that, and social media and the role social media has in developing the right friendships. How do we connect with the right people who are going to really support us? What role do schools and families play in helping teenagers develop these positive relationships and connections? We have to talk about all of that in this video. So important for teenagers to belong, and far too many don't. And it's not just teenagers, adults need to belong. We as human beings, we are social creatures, and if we don't feel connected to community, it creates lots of problems. And the longer we go without making these connections, the more disconnected we feel, the more some of these negative emotions and negative thinking patterns begin to uh, pop up and creep into our lives. And it can impact our physical health and well-being, performance in all areas. And worst case scenario, it can really cause people to become dysfunctional in society as a whole, right? In other words, they become these type of people who commit these crimes and end up in prison and do all the worst kinds of things. So to try to help people, teenagers in particular, be connected, vitally important. I can relate one story in my life that I didn't even realize the importance of it or understanding this till I was in college. And there's a family that had moved in from St. Louis into our town, and the boy was 9 years old. I was 12. He happened to be on my Little League team. My family offended their family because they joined the church that we went to. And I didn't even realize what I did till his mom related the story years later. But apparently, this kid was being picked on Little League by some of the guys on the team because he was new, a little different cultural kinds of things. He might have had a little different accent, whatever. The kids were being mean, bullying them. And I was one of the leaders of the team, and I basically said, knock it off, cut it out, give the kid a break, will you? And apparently, that influence stopped it, and he was able to become good enough. He's now felt much better being on a team. By the time he was 12, he was an all-star in the league, and he was really beginning to feel part of the community. And it began, apparently, what his mom said, with that little intervention on my part. Peer pressure is something we all face. Social pressure to follow the crowd, to belong. So to belong, you need to do kind of what the crowd's doing. The problem begins to come when that pressure to belong, to fit in, doing whatever it is the other people are doing, begins to conflict with your value structure. That is when the stress of the situation really begins to creep in, right? When you see maybe this group that kind of begun to welcome you in, maybe you're a new kid to town, what have you, and they're smoking. Yeah, you care about your health and all that, but yet they kind of began to kind of welcome you in. The other groups haven't. So to fit in, you start, right? And then maybe the pressure will become, you start drinking. And then maybe now you're part of this group. Now maybe it's pressure to try smoking pot, then doing some of these other things. You kind of begin sucked into that, and it's centered around this idea of the importance of belonging. And then the conflict and the tension is because you've maybe connected with this group, or this one group's welcoming you in, and their values, what they're asking you to do, conflict, and now you've got this conflict, and that creates lots of stress. Again, I can kind of talk about something my mom said in my own life. She asked me once, apparently I was in college at the time, um, And she related this to me when I was an adult, and I don't remember the conversation at all. But she asked if I'd ever felt a lot of pressure to smoke pot. And I said, no. I mean, I never really felt pressured to do it at all. She said, why not? So many kids seem to feel pressured in that. And what she said was, my response was, because I'm me. And the message there was, I was comfortable enough with who I was that I just didn't feel any pressure. It's like, no, I don't want to. No, thank you. You know, we've talked in a large number of these videos now on teenage mental health about the influence of social media. And once again, I have to bring it up because the pressures of social media and that comparison trap that comes with it, and just kind of the addictive nature of it, and the bullying and other things that can go on through it, getting trapped in this drama impacts teenage mental health. So it's something we've got to be aware of and think about addressing and educate teenagers on. The other area that's real important in helping teenagers is developing healthy friendships, finding those friends who are really going to support you and be with you. It's not just about sharing common interests. It's about sharing common values and goals. So understanding those for yourself is really helpful in connecting with people that will support you. I think I've mentioned in the past some other videos that a Framingham study, which was done, I think it was Harvard University had done it, Framingham, Massachusetts. The original study was a medical study about heart disease, I believe. But when they went and researched or re-looked at the data, one of the things that jumped out at some of these researchers was the spread of negativity amongst not just the inner circle, but your inner circle to their inner circle, right? So your friends also have an inner circle. You're part of that, but there are others that might not be part of your inner circle, and how it kind of spreads out like a ripple effect, right? And that negativity is about 3 times as more powerful than positivity. So surrounding yourself by people who are negative all the time is going to more likely draw you into that. And that negativity also oftentimes these people also won't have your back, right? They're not gonna support you when the going gets tough. So we've got to really help kids discern the character of the people that they want to connect with and fit in with. And that takes some training and education and teaching. All right. You know by this point what I firmly believe the antidote to all this is, and that is a curriculum program, a training program that focuses on developing, training teenage mindset. This is the beliefs they have about who they are, positive beliefs, showing them how to eliminate the negative ones, how to deal with emotions, how to tether themselves from these unresolved negative emotions that put glass ceilings on them, that drag them back, how to deal with stress, implementing social emotional learning, implementing programs for connecting with their peers, peer mentorship programs, or advisory programs. Schools can do all these things, but that curriculum I'm talking about is so important, and how it can be done and implemented can make or break it. It is kind of my mission to kind of talk about it there, get it out there. People, you guys, as parents, as anybody else, need to get involved because it is vital for all our communities to help teenagers and adults develop this mindset that can deal with the challenges of life that come up. This term that gets thrown out there about this current generation, which is a very negative term, being a snowflake, melting at the first sign of pressure. We've got to change that. That name, that little nickname, isn't positive, and it's a generalization, true, but generalizations often come from things that have been observed fairly often. So that's my, get on my little soapbox on that, but it's all about mindset training. It's so very important. Again, this whole series is something personal to me and something I really hope you're getting things out of this video as we come to end of another one. I hope you'll kind of engage, give me some comments in there, share some experiences that maybe you had in school, positive or negative, experiences your kids have had, positive or negative, things that you think your district might be doing well. Share those. Get it out there. The more you share those positive things, the more that can spread. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.